Absolutely. I love Netflix.
Who's looking for another gig? And we'll start with you, George, I suppose. I mean, your character, he's a bit like, well, he thinks of himself, I think, like a Robin Hood type character of London. Do you know what I mean? Saving everybody. Yeah. So what did you make of Toby when you first read the script?
Totally. I love like his energy, and he's kind of he's got this intensity about the way he sees the world and a commitment to seeing that through. But in itself, he's not fully, he's kind of like, he is his actions, and but it's sort of, so it kind of slightly removes himself from himself, because then who he is at home is slightly different, and he's kind of banging up against about sort of threading a line between the actions that he wants to do and what he believes in, and actually doing it. And ultimately he's kind of, he's true to himself. But I just love that sort of that juxtaposition of wanting to be the freedom fighter and then perhaps not always being that all the way through, still being
exactly. Yeah. And Percelle, I mean, how did you get involved in this? And did you two know each other before this? Because I was just talking to Kelly and she was like, oh, those two get on so well. Did you did you know each other before the whole thing?
Yeah, maybe in a different world, man. Yeah. But I haven't met George before the project, and just in terms of getting on the project, I got an audition for my agent, and didn't think too much of it. Did the self-tape, sort of, put it in the ether, let's see what happens. And then I got a recall, and then doing the chemistry tapes with George, it just was so seamless. And I knew at that part of doing, the tapes and stuff, I knew I really, really wanted to be part of this project, because just working with George over a Zoom audition, I just felt like we had like really good chemistry. And I really was like, just, just so excited to see how we can do this on the actual day of filming. So, I was so grateful when I got the role.
Yeah, and Hugh Bonneville is in this in kind of a role we haven't really seen him in before. Do you know what I mean? He's a bit scary, obviously. So did you enjoy your scenes with them? You both have scenes with them. Maybe George, well, how did you, because we think of him really like from all his family kind of films. So I assume he's a nice guy, woman, when you're talking to him, and then they say action and it's a bit like...
it was amazing to see, because as you say, like, without giving too much away, he's completely different to how I think anyone has ever seen him before. Like, this is an incredible switch in character. But it was amazing to basically, like, we got the privilege of seeing it happen in the flesh. Like, he is a lovely guy in real life. But yeah, and so you'd see that moment where suddenly, the kind of the way that the story goes, everything, like, what is revealed, you suddenly see come to life in front of you, and it was chilling. But also as an actor, I was saying earlier, it kind of you go like, oh, okay, cool. You're seeing something cool happen, and it made you want to rise to it. So it was exciting.
Okay, and Percelle, your character, I mean, he's got this baby on the way, he's trying to stay on the straight and narrow, but Toby keeps trying to string him back in, which creates this kind of a lot of the scenes between you two are tense. So I was wondering, what were they like to film? Because there was a bit of a, do you know what I mean, a bit of a bashing between the two heads.
It was definitely that, like a push and pull, and it was a balance to it, because I guess even in one of the earlier scenes between us, when we're kind of talking and I'm sort of telling him I can't do this, the missions, it's like you love him, and you want him to kind of be on your side at the same time, but at the same time, Jay now has this new direction in life that he wants to go, and because of his childhood as well, it is, it was very heartbreaking, I think, for Jay for Toby to sort of not kind of be on board, but I guess he kind of thinks, Toby will one day come round to it, but I guess with Jay as well, he kind of makes a series of different choices, and in the end he's sort of struggling to kind of keep up with all of them.
Yeah, and movies are obviously so complex to make. I mean, we see a scene that goes like in a minute or two, but we know there's loads of filming and loads of work goes into each of them. And random one at the start of this, we see tattoos on you, George, or on your character Toby, and my mind always goes, God, how long did it take him in makeup to get that, just for that one kind of scene? Did stuff like that take ages?
Yeah, it does. And well, I'm glad you mentioned the tattoos, because Ella and I, the makeup designer, we put loads of thought into what was on his body as well, and what sort of, there's a kind of lots of conspiracy theory kind of emblems. There's a couple of like intentionally bad choices, a couple of more sort of through down the line sort of metaphorical kind of gestures towards Toby. So the process of choosing them was a fun one, and something we went back and forth on, and then it was a fair amount of time. I mean, I think he's in a kind of a long tracksuit for a lot of it, but those ones where he's in his tops off, or he's in that particularly small t-shirt, which was another sort of aesthetic choice. That was a fair day of makeup. It's a good hour and a half or something.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Are you Graffiti fans then? Like, do you know what I mean? Are artistic at all, either of you? Do you know what I mean? Could the next Banksy be sitting, well, virtually in front of me? Do you know?
Real Banksy could be sat in front of you.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Mind blown moment. I'll be wondering all day.
That's when it happened.
No, but yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely fans. I think doing the film, we got to learn more about just the background of just that culture and the movement, and you get just to learn just more about it. It's not just an art form. Some people, it's more political, and it's you know, an expression of you know, personality, of choice, and of their views. And yeah, it was good to meet that world really, and just learn more about it. It was fascinating. Yeah.
Okay. And then accents then. I mean, George, you got an accent in this, obviously a British accent, but do you find accents like that and tones of accents easy, dialects I suppose you call them, easy to do? Do you do any training in them before you go on, or does it just come naturally?
A little bit, yeah. No, keeping in mind. And I find, like, it's funny, the ones, if it's wildly different to my own, I end up sort of doing it all the time. And with this, I think I kind of, because it's not too far from my own, but it's just a little change, would be in and out of it a little bit. And even playing around with Babak was saying, I think there's a little bit of Toby's kind of affecting it slightly as well. As to, like Babak said, I want you to be a tiny bit different from when you're with your mum to when you're out and about a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's enjoyable. I love doing it. I think it's just another layer to any character you play.
Yeah, and this is obviously a Netflix project. I mean, Percelle, you're no stranger to Netflix, The Innocents. So is there a difference doing Netflix projects to others, or is it, because we also, you know, everybody's obsessed with Netflix now, but do you know what I mean? Is there any difference between doing a project on Netflix than to others, or is it all the same thing? It's all a cameraman and a director.
Absolutely. I love Netflix.
Who's looking for another gig?
No, I think I've been quite fortunate, man. You know, the last Netflix thing I did was The Innocents, and just being on that journey and just understanding like how, you know, just what it takes to make a series like that, and kind of, I think more so talking to like the directors and the creative team, how much kind of freedom and just that freedom to kind of create the projects we create, you know. So I feel like, yeah, every time I get the opportunity to work with like a platform like this, it's yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
Okay, and lastly, George, your movie 1917 was such a smash, and it kind of changed things for you. Did you expect it to be such the smash that it was internationally?
No, genuinely. I was so thrilled to be involved, and the kind of, when I knew that Sam Mendes was doing a film that appeared to be in one shot, that was kind of like, wow. And then hearing, as I got the role, who would be the fellow members of the crew and the people putting it together, it was just so thrilling. But I didn't think beyond that, and the doing of it was so consuming that then it was just a beautiful surprise. It turned out the way it did.
Well, listen, congratulations on everything, and congratulations on I Came By, guys. Brilliant film. Cheers.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, nice to
Take
meet you.
care.
Take care.
Bye.
See you.